Hello, my name is Michelle, and you're listening to Profit is a Choice. Every day, empowered entrepreneurs are taking ownership of their company financial health and enjoying the rewards of reduced stress and more creativity. With my background as a financial software developer, owner of multiple businesses in the interior design industry, educator, and speaker, I coach women in the interior design industry to increase their profits, regain ownership of their bottom line, and to have fun again in their business. Welcome to Profit is a Choice. Hey, Annette, welcome to the podcast. I'm glad you're with us today.
Hey, I'm so excited to be here.
Yeah, and today we're talking all about profit first, and I just want to talk to you about how you've implemented it into your business, and we're going to talk all the good and the bad and the ugly of what that looked like. But before we jump in, why don't you tell everybody just a little bit about your business, how long you've been in business, and what you do?
So I have been in business for actually 13 years. I am a wholesale workroom to the trade, and it's just me. I do have a part-time person that I bring in kind of as needed.
And you work primarily in the Greenville, Spartanburg area, correct?
I do.
Okay.
I'm
That's
near
awesome.
Greenville.
Okay. And did you plan for profitability from the very beginning when you started your workroom 13 years ago? Or what did you think about with that?
Okay, so I didn't start out as a workroom, but I did start out to be a business. I was pregnant with Kaylee and had friends at church who wanted to learn how to smock. And I realized very quickly that I was going to teach them one way or the other. And so I decided that I would organize it so that I could get a retail license and I could buy fabric and notions and trims. And that way, when I was teaching my sewing classes after the stores were closed, if they needed something, they would buy it from me. And I charged. So I had it all set up so that they actually paid for their classes. But so yes, I plan to make money, but I also as much just plan to kind of support my habit of heirloom sewing because I had a baby on the way that I wanted to make things for.
And so how long has it been since you implemented? I know you and I worked together on Profit First. How long has it been since you implemented? How many years?
Goodness. Probably 3.
Yeah, I was thinking it was like 2016.
Yeah.
So what was happening in your business prior to Profit First?
Well, we had been coaching for a while, so I was finally making enough money to pay taxes, which was a good and bad thing for me, because I had never made enough money to pay taxes before, so that was surprise. But I was not paying myself regularly and had nothing set aside for the taxes, nothing set aside for profit.
Okay, so you had nothing set aside for taxes and nothing set aside for profit. And so I know when we first started, you were pulling in, we finally got it to where you could pull in some salary. And then all of a sudden we had, like you said, the bonus that we had made enough salary that you could now have to pay taxes. And so then that's another division of the money. And it can get very overwhelming to have all of those things in one big bucket and not know how much to pull out. I remember that question. It comes up a lot with other people, but I remember you asking me specifically, how much can I pay myself? How much can I pay myself? Because you see this bucket of money all in one place and you don't know all the different, I guess, maybe tasks that it needs to do. Would you say that that was fair?
Yes, absolutely.
And what were your fears about starting Profit First? Did you have any, or was it like, let's just jump in and go, or, oh, this is, I don't like it that you're going to make me move my money? What did you think?
I don't think I was afraid of it at all. Again, because we had been coaching for some time. By that point, honestly, I had learned that if you said something, it was going to be good. So I just needed to listen.
So just do it because Michelle told you to do it, right?
Right, right. Isn't that what I do for, to tell me what to do and make the right decisions?
That's right. Now, if only my kids would have done that the entire time that I was parenting, right?
Oh,
They're good kids, don't get me wrong. But if they were just like, well, mom said that, I should just go do it, that would just be golden.
They'll say it.
They'll say it. Is that right?
Give it
Okay.
a couple more years.
Okay. So when you first started Profit First, how many bank accounts did you establish? What did you jump all the way in, or did you do one or two accounts to get started?
No, I went all in.
Okay.
Head first. So I had an operating account. I kept that. I opened a tax savings account. I opened a profit savings account, and I opened an owner's pay account. And so I only have those 4 because I use my debit card instead of a credit card.
Okay. And how often do you allocate and distribute? Do you do it once a month? Do you do it on the 10th and the 25th, the 15th and the 30th?
Right now I'm doing once a month, but we're in the process now of trying to move that. So my husband gets paid twice a month, and then I want to get paid twice a month on the week that he does not get paid.
See, isn't that the beautiful part? We can adjust that and just start and pick up with the next month and just change the way that we do it.
Yes.
When did you first start seeing the Profit First methodology? After, I know you went through my Master Your Profit course, which is what it's been renamed and trademarked to now. But when you went through that course, when did you start seeing Profit First actually work for you? Was it the first month that you saw it, or did it take a little bit? How did you know that, oh my goodness, this is working?
Well, when I think it was pretty quick, because I had already been through that year where I made enough to pay taxes, and I'd never made enough to pay taxes before, and I didn't have the money. And so then I had this, big, huge debt with the IRS. And so when I started Profit First and knew that tax money was going into its own safe little place, that was like somebody had thrown me a life preserver.
So you're able now to pay your taxes without breaking out in a cold sweat. It's just like when they're ready to be paid, the money is in the account.
Oh yeah. I'm like, let's pay them early, because I got all that money sitting there, and it's fun to write that big old check. I just feel like such a grown-up, important business owner that I can just write a check for that amount of money every quarter or whatever.
That sounds awesome. I remember that being one of my big ahas too, was realizing that, I don't know that anybody says, oh my goodness, let me stroke a huge tax check. However, knowing that it means that the business made money, and knowing that the money has been earmarked for that, and that it's been separated out from what I'm visually seeing to be able to make the decisions in my business, it's stress-free. I do not stress around tax time at all. And I am watching and looking, and every month I'm running my reports, and I'm saving based on percentage. So as my income goes up and I'm saving on a percentage, I've got enough. And as my income comes down and I'm saving a percentage, I still have enough. And so I've just never run into a problem where it was off. And I know those that are consistent with me in doing that, it's not meant to be exact, but it is darn close.
Yeah. Yeah.
What have you been doing to keep your Profit First going? Have you had any bumps in the road, or have you had any times where you missed a couple of months and then had to catch up, or you had to adjust? Because that happens sometimes.
I've adjusted. So the first year, I was a little short on the taxes. And so after that, I upped my tax amount, my percentage, because I am fine if there's more in there than I need it to be, but I'm not so fine if there's not enough to cover it.
That's a good point. I had to do the same thing. We usually start looking at around 15% of real revenue as a starting point, but mine's higher than that just because of the way money flows through my business. So I'm up probably around 20 to 21% of gross profit / real revenue, which really makes you feel kind of, ugh. But it works out in the end. And so I'm like you, I'd rather save it and then have the accountant tell me we don't need to pay all that because it's money that I've still been holding on to, can move over into my profit account or do whatever, but it's not like I owe the government. And I much prefer that.
Yes. And I'm doing about the same thing. I'm doing about 20% into my tax account just because it makes me feel safe.
How do you stay motivated to keep going? What motivates you?
Well, once you owe the IRS money, you never forget that feeling. So I don't ever want to go back there again. And also last year was the first time that, well, the first time for two things. One, it was the first time that I had work steady through the entire year. And it was the first time that we went on a planned vacation. And so I took that profit money, like first quarter, and I paid a deposit on a trip for my family. And then I put it on the calendar, just like I've been told to do. And then we went. And it was so cool, so cool. So I don't know why I have to be a little hard-headed compared to most people, but you know, everybody says if you calendar it, it'll happen. And if you, put the money aside, it'll be there. For some reason, it took me a while to get to that. But once you see that can actually happen, it is so freeing.
Yeah, it really is. And so I bet now you've got some bigger plans for that profit money. What are your plans for your profit money this year?
So this year, we have hopes of taking a big family vacation to Universal Studios. And so I want to be able to go and have time, and I want to be able to give Kaylee spending money, and I just want it to be really special, big deal kind of vacation. And so that's what we're saving for this year with profit money, and we probably won't go till fall just because who wants to go to Florida in the summer?
Right. Especially in the heat when you're trying to be out there. Right. So that's a huge profit goal that you have coming up. What would you say to anybody that was maybe hesitant about starting Profit First or jumping into the Master Your Profit course? How would you encourage them, knowing the journey you've been on for the last 3 years and what it's done for you?
Just hold your nose and jump. Just do it. Just do it. You don't need to, you will understand as you come back up that water didn't go up your nose, that you're not going to die. It's going to be fine. And you're going to be so excited and so proud of yourself once you do it. You're going to come back up in such a better place.
It's so true, isn't it? I know even when my husband and I did the Dave Ramsey in our home, and there is this resistance that we have to trying something new or doing something in a different way. But if you can keep pushing through that resistance and act, like you said, anyway, remove the fear, jump in, whatever we have to do, get the support group, have people around you. When you come up on the other side and you see the transformation in your own home and in your own finances, it truly does make a big difference to just keep going. So what are you doing to put yourself in a position to be successful and profitable for the future? What are you doing right now?
So this year, I have made a decision that I will not spend a penny out of my business that does not need to be spent. So I'm a girl who does not mind buying tools. I don't mind spending money on education. I do not mind putting money into my business. But I'm also a girl who went to the conference last year and had to have pink scissors because, they make you work better. So this year we're not spending any money that we don't absolutely need to spend. So I have a contest going with myself to see how little I can spend, how low I can keep my expenses, but yet keep my business running at the level that it needs to run.
I love that. That reminds me of the book Toilet Paper Entrepreneur by Mike Michalowicz on, sometimes the business outgrows us. And to your point, honestly, that's what Profit First teaches, is how to have the business live on its means. Whereas a lot of times we allowed the business to live outside of its means. We allowed it to use more of the expenses than it had the right to use. And it was actually eating up our salary for all of these things that we thought we, in air quotes, needed. And so really defining what is a business need, when do I buy, what do I buy, all of those things makes it, when you buy it, so much better, because you now know that it wasn't kind of an impulse purchase, that there was a plan and reasoning behind it. So I think that is fantastic. Annette, as we wrap up today, is there anything else you would like to share about the Master Your Profit course, the Profit First Journey, or anything like that?
Well, the other thing that I want to plug is the Understand Your Financials course that you have available. So I have a bookkeeping background, and I thought that I knew all this stuff, but I decided to take that class and learned what I didn't know and what I didn't understand. And again, that was one of those things that I just resisted. And finally, one day I was like, okay, this is what you are doing today. And when you finish, you can have a milkshake. So you're going to sit down and you're going to work on this class for 3 hours or till lunch. And so I sat down and I started working through it, and I'm like, oh my goodness, I'm so stupid. Why did I put this off? This is not overwhelming. It's doable. It puts me in control.
Yes. You know, it's funny. I'm so glad that you actually mentioned that, because I actually created these courses to complement each other. When I first created my course that taught the Profit First Money Management System, the title of the course was Passion for Profit. That was the first course that I had. And I realized in that course the big need to understand financials, because I would be asking people to bring their financials and to look at certain numbers and to do certain things, and they didn't know what I was talking about. Yeah. They kept... Before I could even tell them how to separate out, parse the money, I was going back and having to teach them about the general financial health of their company and what it looked like. So I would say, I'm so glad you brought that up, totally unprompted. However, I will say, if people are struggling with the financials, taking the Understanding Your Financials course first and then taking the Master Your Profit course is beautiful. They were meant to interlock.
Yes.
Because then you understand everything that you're looking at. You understand all the bits and pieces, and it immediately fits in with Master Your Profit. I even in the Master Your Profit course a couple of times say, and if you don't know what I'm talking about right here, you need to go look at the Understanding Your Financials. And so that is a good point, to really understand them so that you can really tell the money what to do and where to go to support you and to support the goals and dreams that you have for the business.
Absolutely. And again, it was only overwhelming in my mind. It's like when you get one of those big jobs and you just walk around your table looking at what you're supposed to do rather than just, pulling something out and starting on it. You realize once you start on it that the worst part of the job was dreading it.
Was the getting started. It was the holding your nose and jumping. That was the worst part, right?
Yes.
That was it. Well, Annette, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for sharing your Profit First journey. I wish you much success, and I can't wait to hear about your trip to Universal, because I have zero doubt that that's going to happen for you and your family this year.
I have the right team on my side, so I'm sure it's going to happen too. Thank you.
You're welcome. Have a good day.
You too.